Do you find yourself at that juncture where you don't know what or who exactly God wants in your life? One of the most difficult decisions that we all might have to face one day as human beings, and more so as Christians, is the decision on who to spend the rest of our lives within marriage. One of the greatest problems in the world right now is the huge, steady increase in divorce and separation cases. In a world where divorce and the institution of marriage are no longer considered sacred or everlasting, it becomes more important and pertinent that you make the right choices and marry correctly. Your life and destiny will literally be determined by the kind of partner you decide to live your life with. I have seen great prospects, smart minds, and awesome geniuses whose lives were brought to an underrated end because they made the decision to settle with the wrong person. The same way I have seen seemingly ordinary people who didn't seem to hold many prospects become huge successes and reference points for others on the premises of who they decided to settle with. Do not let anyone trivialize the issues of marriage and unions for you, child of God, because the success of your life will require that the partner you bring into it is in tune with and supportive of that life and destiny. Many of the lives and destinies that were cut short or damaged by their spouses showed signs. There were signs that showed that these people were not the ones for them. God and even the person must have shown signs that they ignored, either because of emotions or just because they felt confident marriage would correct that behavior in that person. But they found out too late that it couldn't be fixed. Many didn't have the opportunity to walk away because that marriage consumed them. There are signs to look out for that show that a person is not the right one for you. Their relationship with God is not their top priority. A person who does not love God cannot translate the love. As a child of God, the Bible clearly puts it to us in the book of Proverbs 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. The love and fire of God that is burning in your heart will be sniffed out cold if you make the mistake of admitting a person into your life who does not push for the same love and fire of God as you. You cannot be an iron and your partner a wood. There will be no sharpening. Your life and destiny with God require a partner who knows how much your heart beats for God. Your partner cannot appreciate or know how much your heart beats for God until their heart beats in the same rhythm for Him. A heart that does not beat for God cannot love you correctly in the way of God. I heard a story of a lady who was in the choir at a branch of our church in another state, who, from all reports, had a very good record. Sings with the voice of angels and on fire for God, doing exploits in the music ministry. The day she got married, we all heard about it and were so happy for her, because she was not a very young lady. Fast forward a year after her marriage, and we were not hearing about her any longer. We barely saw her on program flyers, and recently, we realized the man had a long history of domestic violence and has been maltreating this lady. Her ministry, her love for God, her life, her passion, all came to a halt because she allowed a con man into her life as a partner. Watch out, child of God. Their company of friends does not reflect who they portray to be. Listen to me, child of God. The quality of people you allow into your life determines the quality of information that flows into your life. The quality of information that goes into your life determines the quality of life you will lead. The quality of life you lead will determine the quality of your future and your destiny. The Bible says in the book of 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33, "Be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners." If you realize that the quality of people around them does not match the personality they portray, or does not match what the Bible demands of wholesome relationships, that is a sign that he or she is not the right one for you. The level of information they will bring into your life will be a reflection of what they have been hearing from people around them. Show me your friends, and I can literally guess your type just by observing them. You find most of these people will have wandering eyes, substance abuse, lying tongues, and very mysterious ways about them. You cannot really put your finger on their movements and their operations. Everything about them seems to be shrouded in kind of mystery, and you lose your peace each time you think about them instead of calm and reassurance. Do not ignore those signs. That is a red flag to quit now before they corrupt your heart and your life. They do not value your opinion or choices or are concerned about your growth, physically or spiritually. Anybody who downplays your choices, your actions, and your plans in life does not support your growth. There is a difference between when someone makes inputs to improve the chances of your choice and when someone criticizes your choices and actions to bring out the failures in them without preferring solutions. You are going to spend the rest of your life with that person, and you cannot go through life every day being put down by the first person who should hold you up. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8 gives us a perfect example of what love from a partner is supposed to do. It says, "Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins." A person who loves you does not put you down to reveal your flaws and sins. Their love covers it. When you find yourself in a relationship with people who want to point out your indiscretions and your failures, rather than cover you up and help you, that is a red flag to quit, and you should not ignore it. The person who you must let into your life must possess the ability to hold your hands through your decision-making times in life. Make inputs where it is necessary to take on the challenges with you when the time comes. When your strength fails, like Job's in the Bible, you will need a partner who will stand by you, not the kind of woman Job married, who joined his friends to tell him to curse your God and die. Child of God, you need to move on from your past. Leave these people in your past. Forget them there. No man walks into the future looking backwards. The only things in the past that can help you are lessons. And people mistake these lessons for the burdens they carry around as the past. God has a better purpose for your life, and that purpose is set for the future with Him. God made a promise to us in the Bible. In Joel chapter 2, verse 25, He says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm, the caterpillar, and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you." The plans of God capture your past. You are only missing out on the future by focusing on the past. There's nothing in your past that you lost that God does not have plans to restore to you in the future. The purpose of God for you cannot come to fruition until you accept to put the past behind you and surrender to Him as He brings you into a future in which you will conquer and regain all. The purpose of God for your destiny is clearly stated in His words. You cannot attain destiny until you move away from the past. You cannot walk forward fast enough while dragging baggage. Remember how clumsy you always get at the airport when you carry too much luggage? You are slower than other passengers, and you are more stressed because you have to monitor and take care of so many of your luggage at once. Then you also remember how relieved and the joy you felt when you finally got to your destination, and the bags no longer were your concerns because someone took charge of them. That is how relieved you will feel when you lay all these baggages at the foot of Jesus and take up His grace to exist in His purpose. Before we end this episode, I want to bring you some news that will gladden your heart. It does not matter what or who you left in your past. One of the hallmarks of moving on is that we leave people and things behind that will hinder us. Some of them are habits, characters, personal belongings, family, and friends that people have used over the years to define us. Moving ahead means you have to leave most of them in the past. But I come bearing good news. What God has for you is way better. He tells us to cast all our cares upon Him because He loves and cares for us. Your imagination might run wild, your dreams might go deep, and your visions about your future in God might seem very clear. But I want to assure you that they are nothing compared to the plans and purposes of God for your life. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9 says, "However, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, these things God has prepared for those who love Him. These are the things God has revealed to us by His Spirit. The Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God." This is the confidence that we have in God, that His plans for us are beyond our imaginations. All we need to do is believe and surrender our wheels. No two captains can successfully manage one boat unless one agrees to take instructions from the other. You cannot lead a life controlled by your past and expect to move ahead. Once again, no man moves forward looking backward.